What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the MMA Fast. Today, let's get started with Kamaru Usman backs Israel Adesanya following UFC Seattle loss. Kamaru Usman believes Israel Adesanya still has some juice left in the tank. Adesanya suffered his fourth straight loss in the UFC Seattle main event on March 28th. Despite a strong start, the last stylebender was stopped by Joe Pyfer via second-round TKO. It's been a rough fall from grace for the former two-time UFC middleweight champion, but Usman believes Izzy remains competitive. I'm a fan of Israel's, and as a spectator as well, I see it from that perspective, but I also see it as a fighter who has been in a situation like this. And God, it's difficult because he still has it. You can see it. When you're on the way up and you're young, you're just next one, next one, next one. You're consistently just going in there and doing it and being victorious. You don't have time to doubt yourself. You have that chip on your shoulder. But when you've been to the top and now you're rolling back down, you start to doubt yourself while you're rolling back down. Do I still have it? Can I still do it? Am I still that good? So you have to find some way to anchor yourself and turn the boat around. Adesanya's last victory was back in 2023 when he knocked out Alex Pereira to reclaim the UFC middleweight championship. Since then, he's suffered losses to Sean Strickland, Dricus du Plessis, Nassourdine Imavov, and Joe Pyfer. Brendan Schaub scoffs at Nate Diaz entering UFC Hall of Fame. Former UFC heavyweight Brendan Schaub doubts Nate Diaz will be inducted into the Hall of Fame on his own merit. So Nate Diaz had a good career. Just so you're aware, he will never make it to the Hall of Fame as an individual fighter. Now maybe his fight against one of his previous opponents, maybe Conor McGregor, he might have a fight to make the Hall of Fame. But as far as him as individual accomplishments, he won't make the UFC Hall of Fame. That's just not real. That will never happen. I don't know if that's news to you guys, but he won't. You're talking about MMA royalty. Now, some of you that are new to the sport will be like, Nate Diaz is royalty. He's not. He's famous. But there's a difference between being famous and accomplished. Diaz is set for what figures to be a sizable payday against Mike Perry on the same card that will feature the MMA returns of Ronda Rousey and Gina Carano. Arman Tsarukyan reveals heaviest off-season weight when not in fight camp. Top UFC lightweight contender Arman Tsarukyan, who wants to serve as backup for the UFC Freedom 250 headliner, recently revealed his heaviest off-season weight. During a candid chat with Clavicular, Tsarukyan said that when he is in fight camp, he has a chef who can help him keep his diet in check. However, when not in camp, Tsarukyan loves to binge eat. When I'm in camp, I have a chef. For breakfast, I eat eggs or yogurt with granola, all healthy. For lunch, pasta, and for dinner, fish or meat with vegetables. And when I'm not in camp or on a diet, I eat what I want to eat. Right now, I eat everything. Burgers too. I like more meat, steaks, fried chicken. I like sushi as well. During the same candid chat with looks-maxing streamer Clavicular, Arman Tsarukyan revealed that when he's not fighting, he sometimes weighs more than a middleweight. And from there, making 155 pounds gets really difficult. In the off-season, I weigh 87 kilograms. It's like 190 pounds. And then it's difficult to come down. You have to cut so much weight. It is like 35 pounds. If the 29-year-old Armenian does not get to serve as a replacement, he then expects his next fight to be announced after the White House event. UFC analyst points out problem with Jiri Prochazka winning the title at UFC 327. Former UFC light heavyweight champion Jiri Prochazka reclaiming gold at UFC 327 could present problems, according to a top analyst. One of the most intriguing fights of the year takes place in the UFC 327 headliner, as Jiri Prochazka and Carlos Ulberg square off in a vacant light heavyweight title fight. The booking came to fruition after Alex Pereira vacated the title to make the full-time move to the heavyweight division. It's a quick move back into a light heavyweight championship opportunity for Prochazka, following 2 losses to Pereira and impressive wins against the likes of Khalil Rountree and Jamal Hill. For Ulberg, the streaking Australian powerhouse is looking to kick off a new era in the light heavyweight division. If Prochazka wins at UFC 327, it'll be the culmination of a gritty return to the throne for the fan favorite. But one analyst believes Prochazka winning at UFC 327 could present the matchmakers with a unique problem. In a recent interview, UFC analyst Alan Juban admitted that a Prochazka title win could present some marketing issues. It's a tough sell. We love him, and we're always going to watch his fights. You can always put him in a main event. But is he the best in the world when he's obviously lost to the best guy in the world numerous times? It's a tough sell. Oldberg, as good as he is, and as good-looking as he is, and all the ladies love him, he's the hot guy in the UFC right now. But he doesn't carry the name value for me right now yet. He doesn't. And when you look at that last fight that he had, and you look at the press, the build-up, the lead-up with him versus Dominic Reyes, it was crickets. There was nothing happening. It was one of the worst. And I say this respectfully. It was one of the worst promotions we've seen by two fighters. They couldn't say anything exciting. Dana White reveals why he removed himself from UFC fighter contracts. UFC CEO Dana White is no longer involved with fighter contracts, and he's quite happy about it. While the public widely views White as the end-all and be-all of UFC, he isn't nearly as hands-on with certain aspects as he once was. White insists it's all by his choice, especially when it comes to the negotiating table with athletes. We were a small business, and as we started to grow, the relationships that I had with the Chuck Liddells and the Matt Hughes, and guys like that from the early days right up to Conor McGregor, Ronda Rousey, Cowboy Donald Cerrone, and the list goes on and on. We were talking about Cowboy a little bit off camera. As soon as he got his check, he was blowing it. He was buying boats and jet skis and all kinds of toys. But these guys, whenever anything would go wrong in their personal life, we were the first phone call they would make. As the years have gone on, White is thrilled to no longer be involved with UFC fighter contracts. Obviously, it's grown. I have completely removed myself from the negotiating part of fighter contracts. I got to a point where this isn't fun anymore, man. I'm lucky that I'm at a point in my life and in my career where I can just deal with the fun stuff that I like to do. Chael Sonnen explains what may push Michael Chandler to retire in 2026. UFC Hall of Famer Chael Sonnen has weighed in on what might compel Michael Chandler to retire in 2026. Chandler is going to lock horns with Mauricio Ruffy on the South Lawn of the White House on June 14th. The 39-year-old originally wanted to fight Conor McGregor to complete their TAF 31 saga when the Irishman finally returns. However, Dana White had other plans for Iron and is no longer interested in a potential McGregor versus Chandler bout in 2026. Chael Sonnen believes that if Michael Chandler fails to get his hand raised at UFC Freedom 250, he would choose to hang up his gloves. Chandler will retire if Ruffy beats him. He likely will, and I do not know if it will necessarily be his choice. Chandler is now 38 years old. Chandler is also gainfully employed by Paramount and is going to be part of the announcing team. And should he lose a fight, that would probably just be a point in Chandler's career. Chandler's one of those guys who still wants to be a world champion. So if he gets confronted with, that's just not in your future, he likely would say, fair enough, give my spot to somebody else. Jon Jones accused of road rage in viral post after alleged near-miss incident. UFC legend Jon Jones was allegedly involved in a road rage incident in Albuquerque, with the post going viral on social media. The post was shared by Brian Beltran on Instagram, where he shared all the details of the incident. Beltran claimed that Jones almost hit him thrice with his truck. He also accused the former UFC double champion of following him into a parking lot. Beltran then got out of his car and decided to confront Jones. Jon was then told that he had to learn how to drive. This kid proceeded to chase my car down for 2 blocks, revving his engine and trying to intimidate me. I am glad this happened to me and not one of the senior citizens in our community. I am proud of myself for standing up for myself and not allowing that kind of bullying or intimidation. Jones is considered one of the greatest fighters in MMA history. He previously held the promotion's heavyweight and light heavyweight titles.